And we welcome you back to the 214 Sports Show, episode 101, creeping in to quite a different territory, turning the page as we've already hit a century mark last week in the New Year's episode. So glad to have you back. If you're returning, if this is your first time, welcome to the 214 Sports Show. I'm Joseph Duffy. This is TJ Krilowicz, your home for everything DFW sports. TJ, my wonderful co-host, how you doing this week?
Oh, well, I'm doing well. My amazing co-host Joseph Duffy. No, it's good. I'm back in Austin, as you can see, episode 101. Don't know what we're gonna do about the numbers now. We always used to dedicate it the jerseys. Do we just go back to one?
It was so easy, man. It was
We
so
didn't really do
easy.
that back then. So maybe this
No,
is
we
our
didn't.
point of redemption. I'm unironically, actually, I'm wearing the best number one choice if we want to go back to that. All right. We got the guy. I don't even know if I can show this. Where is it? Elvis Andrews. I know this looks stupid, but look,
I miss Elvis.
number one,
Don't
man. Number
don't
one.
we all? Don't we all miss him?
Now let me awkwardly scoot back in the frame here. Number one, Elvis Andrews. That's we had dedicated this episode to that. Why not?
Could.
Why not?
I like it. I don't mind that since we never really had one for him technically.
Yeah.
Uh, didn't do that back then. I think that'd be a really good idea. But there's not much to cheer for in DFW sports as of late. The Dallas Cowboys. Well, I will say they've gained draft position in that final game against the New York Giants. The Giants cost themselves a really good shot at the number one pick, and also a streak ended in that as the Cowboys lost 34-17. They get their first win against the Cowboys since 2020. That was against Andy Dalton in the Giants Stadium in New York, or actually New Jersey. And then also it's the first loss technically that Dak Prescott has had against the Giants since his rookie year. So a lot of history happened in that last game of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. They don't end up going 8-8 necessarily, as some people tried to make a joke of, even in a 17 game season, but they still ended up 7-8-1 with quite the worst defense you've ever seen in your life. One of the worst defenses in Cowboys history and NFL history. Again, there's a little bit of an asterisk right there with Dak Prescott getting that loss against the Giants because he would eventually uh, sit out for Joe Milton after starting the game. He wasn't looking to play the whole four quarters. But the Cowboys now sit at picks 12 and 20 after that Michael Parsons trade. Do you think that's a really good position? It's the second straight year of having, the 12th pick. And we saw what the Cowboys did last year. Do you have a position in mind the Cowboys should target in that 12th spot first?
I mean, I think it's great positioning. First of all, 12th pick. I'm 12th pick. What that you said it's the second year in a row.
Second year
We're
in a
able to
row.
get Micah Parsons at the 12th pick as well, which I think is kind of ironic. I'm gonna go with I'm guessing like Caleb Downs, Reuben Bain, those types of players are already gonna be gone. What I'm worried about is I think we both agree with this. I think Sonny Styles is a great candidate to take over this defense and to potentially be a leader for this defense. As I feel like, again, it is kind of overthrown kind of term that people use when it comes to linebackers as being the quarterbacks of the defense. But the way that Sonny Styles, I think, is able to coordinate and able to, coordinate and communicate with the defense of Ohio State, which was one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the nation this year. I think is a great quality to have and somebody that the Cowboys desperately need. They don't have a leader right now. And hopefully this can kind of break the streak of, the Cowboys linebacker injury history that we like to talk about a lot. But I do think that Sonny Styles is the best choice. I'm worried that somebody like the Dolphins, who unfortunately weren't able to get the job done against the Patriots, now they have the 11th pick. I'm worried that they might take somebody like him. But right now, I'll say Sonny Styles. You have anyone different in mind, though?
I actually had that same idea in mind for sure going defensively to start it off for pick number 12. I don't know if they're going to go linebacker. I would like Sonny Styles here, but I think they can also do edge rusher as well because the team just struggled to really get home
Tor
at the
Terrible pass
quarterback.
rush, yeah.
My goodness. I mean,
Terrible.
yeah,
Terrible. You
awful.
know what? Hey, terrible. You know where that guy's from? Charles Barkley? The
Alabama.
Auburn Tigers. No, the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah,
He's
the Auburn
also a
Tigers.
really good edge rusher from Auburn.
I
And he'll
saw him in
probably
the
be
mock
gone
draft.
too, right? There's
I
no
saw
way.
I saw him projected for a for him to possibly be here as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he fell to us too. But look, this is a guy in Sonny Styles, by the way, who was a former safety, so he has speed. Eventually beefed up to be a really good linebacker. He's extremely downhill, can plug any hole. I mean, that's what you need for a new revitalized Cowboys defense. I don't know who they're going to get to be the new DC because Matt Eberflus is actually gone now. Will it be Brian Flores? I'd be for that, but who
I
knows?
would be
Maybe he's
for it.
looking for a head coach spot, which I wouldn't blame him for. I don't know if he'll get that based off his history and the fact that he's kind of burned a few bridges, as Ryan Fitzpatrick has said, with the Dolphins organization. And, since having that tragic history that he had, suing the NFL for racial discrimination, who would want to take a chance on that? I don't know. So, being that he possibly could have burned bridges, I don't know if he'll ever get a head coaching spot again. I think he could be a perfect spot in DFW as the new Cowboys DC. And who knows? I think this could be a guy he could want in Sunny Styles. So I think that he's probably the best fit at pick 12. But I could absolutely see an edge rusher. And so I wouldn't mind at all seeing if they got the guy from Auburn who you're talking about. But defensively has to be pick number 12. You
Yeah.
cannot run it back and not
hmm
get a good quality pick in your first spot since the Micah Parsons trade, by the way. Like that's the big factor too. That's who you're giving off to one of your
Absolutely.
biggest rivals. It has to be defense first, I'd assume.
Yeah. Do you think they go 20? Do you think they go double defensive in the first round? See,
I wouldn't be
I'm such a
surprised.
basketball mind here. I'm such a basketball mind. I grew up playing basketball over football. I know you can play both. All right. I know you can play both. But I grew up playing basketball over football and I'm so used to the NBA where the draft comes before free agency. And so it's just so highly unpredictable what happens in this free agency. I'm guessing Javonte Williams isn't under contract. I think that was a 1 year deal, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. George Pickens not under contract. Who knows who's going to be our starters at wide receiver other than CeeDee Lamb? Who knows who's going to be our starter for running back? So do you think that that's something that they go try to get with 20? Or do you think that's more of a later round type thing if they don't fix that problem in free agency, if they don't re-sign Javonte Williams?
I think they'll rely more on free agency
Some good
or a later
offensive
pick.
players in this draft.
Really good, really good. But I don't know if you're willing to take, one of your picks in the later rounds on a running back. I think they'd wait a little bit later on in the draft to do that, or if they possibly just pick up someone else in free agency. Javonte Williams, I don't think should be that crazy of a price tag. He had a really good,
Top 10 in
show when it comes to
rushing.
Dallas Cowboys. This is a really
I mean,
good
there's
year
somebody
for
who
him.
could really put some money on him.
They could be, but I don't know if it'll be at pick 20. They look for somebody young.
hmm
I think they'd rather have that in a later round pick, maybe a third round take for that if they do want to go that route. It's a shame Jaden Blue has not turned out to be what at least we thought he could be, at least just a backup serviceable running back, and he really hasn't been able to do that at all. So,
Joe, I mean, I wouldn't be mad. All right. I would not be mad. And I might sound like the biggest dumbass on the planet here, but
no,
I really, I've been focusing mostly on defensive players for this draft. I know where a lot of defensive players are probably going to go in a sense. I have no clue where Jeremiah Love's going to go. That guy. Hey, I mean, am I wrong here?
that'd be
Jeremiah Love.
awesome. There's not as much respect for talented running backs as they used to be in the NFL draft, not
No.
being exactly. You see Ashton Genty last year. Of course, that takes like a whole Heisman campaign, to get that kind of top 10 pick respect. So, who knows? If Jeremiah Love were to fall all the way down, I'm sure the Dallas Cowboys would absolutely entertain that. I just don't know based off how Javonte Williams played this past season. They like that kind of power he brought, that kind of thump he was
Oh,
bringing to
absolutely.
the
After
the,
those
the
years with
run
Tony
game.
Pollard,
Oh
no
yeah, I
disrespect to
mean,
him.
oh love Tony Pollard. Great speedy back. Sad how it ended up in his final days in Dallas because he was truly a lightning bolt, especially when he got down the sidelines. Man, it was special to watch. And Fred Warner, Fred Warner, I'm mad at you for the rest of my life for that game, but.
Dirty.
Yeah, that
Dirty.
was classic. What you saw from Javonte Williams this season was classic Cowboys running down your throat type of football, and it was cool to see come back.
I
We
really
hadn't seen that
hope
in
he's
so
back on
long.
the team. I was talking all of this mess about Jeremiah Love. I would obviously, I mean, obviously, future-wise, Jeremiah Love, great option at 20 if he's available, which I think there's a small chance. I th not a small chance. I think there's a decent chance that he will be. But I mean, Javonte Williams. I don't know about you. I think we mentioned this a few times, but like I had some flashbacks to prime Zeke at times, and not obviously not nearly as productive as prime Zeke. But some of his runs, man, the way that he just would not go down, the way that he would be
Monster.
able to turn 2 yards into 5 yards. I mean,
And how proud could you be of the guy? Because look, UNC guy, I was always very high in him. I used to be really high in him in fantasy as well. It just sucks that he really couldn't put it all together. And again, those weren't some great Broncos teams he was on, but he was also
absolutely.
battling a lot of injuries. You get him a better O-line in Dallas, a run game that's trying to get back on his feet after one of the worst years they had running the ball the previous season in franchise history. It was really just a match made in heaven. And as soon as I saw it happen, I was like, okay, I'm entertaining it already.
What an amazing signing. That and the George Pickens trade can go down as some of the best, I mean, some of the best moves in the offseason. And it's kind of funny though, in the
Mhm.
end, that those really didn't amount to much. It was 7-9-1, turning from 7-10 from last year, just because of how bad that defensive drop off was.
Yeah. And Javonte Williams, give him credit, man. This guy is not exactly some old guy. I mean, he's still pretty young. He's 25. So he's not exactly creeping into dangerous territory just yet for a young running back. I still think he has a good few solid years left, for sure. And you saw what he could do this year, when he's a little bit more healthy. Again, he still had a few injuries here and there, but I do think he is the running back for the future. Malik Davis right behind him, the former Florida Gator, hasn't looked too bad either behind him. May not be everybody's cup of tea, but he's a really good backup running back behind Javonte Williams. It's a shame Miles
That's the
Sanders couldn't really
speed.
pan out a little bit more because after that kickoff game against the Eagles, I thought maybe this guy could really, really be a good serviceable backup, and then it just really was never getting close to that
Yeah.
again, the former Philadelphia Eagle. But we'll see. That was just our early projections here with the mock draft and the Cowboys finally having this positioning set in stone after the Micah Parsons trade, shipping off their best defensive player and now set at picks 12 and 20 in this coming NFL draft in Pittsburgh this year. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a trip to that. I don't know. I don't
Hey,
know.
not
That could
too
be
far.
fun. That could be
Not too
fun.
far.
Not too far.
You could be the
Uh,
the Cowboys fan. I mean, they get some of the most passionate fans to show on camera at that
they
draft.
always make us look crazy, man. They always make
You
us
got
look
to
just
get the
insane.
big ass cowboy hat, like the
Big
cotton
old,
cowboy hat that
oh
gets like
yeah,
at least 5 feet. Got to have
yeah,
the big chains.
yeah. Or someone with like a big old Cowboys helmet too.
Yeah.
Oh
Hmm.
my gosh, those
Yeah.
guys always look just a little bit obnoxious. But moving on to the
Just a
Dallas
little bit.
Mavericks, yeah, just a little bit. Dallas Mavericks, since our last episode, did lose to the Sixers on New Year's Day. They did, however, bounce back to beat the Rockets by 6 points, and then just recently beat the Sacramento Kings by two, thanks to Brandon Williams' late three-pointer, leading the Mavs to victory. It seems like, it's getting really hot with this trade deadline coming up. The trade deadline is February 5th. It seems like it's almost set in stone that Anthony Davis will not be a Maverick for much longer. We've been talking about this for almost 3 straight weeks now. It doesn't seem like he'll really be back. And so it looks like they're committing a little bit more to the tank. I still don't know for certain. Again, this Kings team is not exactly good, but this team has fared pretty well against the Houston Rockets this year. They got pounded by the Philadelphia 76ers on New Year's Day. But, looking at this Mavs team as it stands as we're recording on a Wednesday evening, 14 and 23 this year. Cooper Flag seems to really be running away with the Rookie of the Year odds and contests so far. Nobody really is threatening him for that. But this team is fighting. They're going back and forth in games this year, like you just saw with the Rockets and the Kings, two straight victories. So when you look at this Mavs team, are you still sold on Anthony Davis being gone by the deadline? Do you want him gone?
Absolutely. And I don't, you know, I really feel bad about the about having to agree with Kendrick Perkins here. But Kendrick Perkins was right. If you didn't see him on ESPN, he did say that this is almost critical that the Mavericks trade Anthony Davis, just because of the fact that he is, you're going to have to re-sign him. You're going to have to lock up so much money into this player that we know can only play at most 50 games per season. And while he does have those 50 games and he's very productive in those 50 games, he's out for so much. And you're going to have to lock him up for a ton and ton of money, which just isn't going to work out. It's not going to work out when you're trying to build a team around a young player like Cooper Flagg. You don't want to be money locked. And that's going to be, that's going to be a huge issue, especially because right now, I mean, you're looking at a team when Kyrie comes back, they can be a competitive team. This team's not good enough, not good enough to make the playoffs, but not bad enough to tank properly because they keep beating these teams. They've lost to a lot of great or a lot of tanking teams in the past. They almost lost to the Kings. They should have lost to the Sacramento Kings, and they did actually lose to them just a few weeks back. They've lost to the Jazz. They've lost to the Pelicans. But at the same time they're doing that, they're beating the Nuggets and they're beating the Rockets. It makes no sense. This team makes absolutely no sense. But what I do know is that this team right now, they are Kyrie Irving and just another you know, competitive, great 3-and-D player away from being a playoff team. And with that, you're not going to be able to build through the draft with Cooper Flagg. You're going to have to build through free agency. You're going to have to build through trades. And you are going to be in a very tough spot with Anthony Davis taking up 60 to 70 million a year. Um, and, kind of pigging back on why we should build around Cooper Flagg. His growth has been insane. And, I'm going to hopefully plan to make a tweet about this soon. Hopefully nobody copies me. And I'm sure somebody else has already thought about this. But other than the 2 games that he's already had in January, Cooper Flagg, that is, where he's, not looked necessarily the best, at least in scoring wise. Um, the month of December, man, this guy's already putting all-star numbers up. 23.5 points per game, 6.2 rebounds per game, 4.8 assists per game, a steal and a block per game. And he's doing this all in 36 minutes, 52% from the field, 33% from three. We were talking about his three-point shooting not being good. He's still at 27% on the season, 33% from three in December, 80% from the free throw line. All of these are the best stats for him through the first 3 months of the season. He has grown and he is going to continue to grow. He's only 19, guys. We have our own Jason Tatum here. All right, we
And he
gotta
just turned
build through
19.
Cooper Flagg. He has been elite in the past month, and I expect him to continue to be elite.
Jason Kidd had a really good quote um based on the rookie wall, and we know what that is
That
based
might be
on.
a first timer for Jason Kidd having a good quote. Actually, yeah, he had some good quotes after the Luka trade, trying to reason with the fans. A lot better than some of the other people in management, but
I'm thinking of a funny meme of Tim Hardaway. You know the one I'm talking about. That's
I
the
know,
funniest. That's the
I know
funny one.
exactly, exactly. You want to share it to the crowd? You want to share it to the
The
audience?
chicken one that he had at KFC. Oh, never mind. I'll move on. But the one he had about Cooper Flagg, saying that he thinks the rookie wall needs to be invisible to him. And it's interesting how he's already saying this so early. You hear about the rookie wall really in the second year of players. He's bringing this up really early, which I think is kind of cool, honestly, to see that he sees something in him which a lot of people have seen. And he said he's got to touch it. He's got to rub it and hold it. He's got to embrace it. That's just a mental thing. For the great ones, they touch it. They don't run from it. They find a way to go over it or through it or around it because it's not going to move. So it's clear they're trying to build around Cooper Flagg, as we all know. Anthony Davis, man, I love you. You're a good guy, but who knows? Is he going to be a Hawk soon? Is he going to be a Warrior? Is he going to be a Sixer? Who knows? There are a lot of
Sixer.
suitors out
I haven't
there that
heard
are
that one yet.
possibly, yeah, there are a lot of suitors out there that are possibly entertaining Anthony Davis, a guy who is, creeping up there in age, dealing with injuries yet again. And they're all in. The Mavs are on Cooper Flagg, a young 19-year-old phenom who could possibly be an all-star this season. The fact they're already talking about a rookie wall to me is just like nuts. It's only been 3 months of this guy's career.
Well, going back to the Philadelphia thing, first of all, I hope they get that Quentin Grimes guy if they trade him over the Philly. Second of all, I mean, you're talking, yeah, you can build around this guy, and I know that it's like so, so vanilla to be like, hey, Cooper Flag's a good player, but he is really good. And I also, something that I've also been really impressed with Cooper Flag in these past few games, this past month, just throughout the entire season, to be honest. The Mavericks are number one in the league in clutch games played, which means they've been in games. Clutch game is where what in the last 5 minutes it's in
Hmm.
with a score of 5 points.
Yep.
They played in the most, and Cooper Flag being 18, 19. I mean, this guy's 3 years younger than me. And me thinking about myself when I just turned 19, I'm not gonna be able to make a 2 minute, 2 minutes left down by one, be able to have a quality possession. I would be nervous as hell. I would be shaking. I would be like that Oklahoma State player, about to snap the ball. But I mean, he's just made constantly has made these smart plays. He can make a shot every now and then, but he's smart. He knows what to do. That Brandon Williams three for Sacramento, that guy had, I mean, Cooper Flag had a window. He had a window to shoot the ball. He did. He took the smarter decision, which giving it to the better shooter and to the, more open player. I mean, again, kind of vanilla to talk about this kind of stuff, but you're talking about a 19-year-old again in the clutch of a game that's nationally televised. There's a lot of people watching. He made the smart decision. Not a lot of players do that at that age. So, I mean, I really do expect him to be something special.
I sure hope, because wow, it's been quite the whirlwind in Mavs basketball these past few months. Um, and so Brandon Williams leading the Mavs to victory against the Sacramento Kings. Next Mavs matchup is coming up, I believe, at 9 p.m. against the Utah Jazz. Going back to Utah, I saw a few weeks ago how they let one slip through their fingers in the clutch against the Jazz, one of those other clutch games that we saw for the Mavs this season. So Mavs sitting at 14 and 23, battling it out against the Utah Jazz at 9 p.m. Excuse me, 8 p.m.
Also, the
Central
team that
Standard
Cooper
Time.
scored 42 points on. So,
Absolutely.
be on the lookout
Yeah.
for a good performance from him again.
Yep. Moving on to the Dallas Stars. And wow, TJ, we've been hyping this team up for a good minute, and they're going through a little bit of a skid. 6 losses in a row combined, in overtime losses and actual standard losses. But yeah, this doesn't give you any pause. Like you're not hitting the panic button, I'd have to assume, after this skid. They haven't won since they played the Leafs on December 21st. And
I
that's quite a
barely
period
remember what
since their
happened
last
in that
win.
game.
Huh?
I barely even remember what happened in that game. It's been so long ago. I think I was in Florida when that happened. I don't even want to give a fake smile off and be like, yeah, this team's been really bad recently. This team is bad and it's just not fun. All
Oof,
right. It's just not fun. Defense been bad, offense been bad. Losing to Chicago twice in this skid
my
is
goodness.
just quite literally, bottom of the barrel. At the time that we'd lost both of the games, they were number one and well, no, not sorry, number 32 out of 32 in regulation wins, and they beat us both times. Well, no, sorry, one of them in overtime slash shootout, the other one in regulation. And so I'm just really disappointed in the team right now. This team is way too talented to be going through a skid like this. The defense has been bad. Ottinger being pulled for the first time this season against Carolina is concerning. But Carolina, again, you talk about that game, the emotions and behind it, and how how the Hurricanes kind of wanted to take that game, and put it in Miko's face. Pause. But I mean, this team's too talented to be losing like this. Um, I wish that they could find a way. We're filming this during the Capitals game. They're up 1-0
Yeah,
right now, one
up
nil.
1-0.
So there's a chance that this gets dropped tonight, or yesterday by the time that we upload this. Um, but I guess something that I can say that give, just a little bit of hope, is talking about this team last season, right before they made it to the playoffs. This team went on a 7 game losing streak. Right now they're at
Mhm.
6. They went on a 7 game losing streak last year, right before the playoffs. Even Jason Robertson got hurt in that, skid last year that prevented him from playing in the first round of the playoffs. This team still went to the Western Conference Finals after losing 7 straight at the end of the season. They went back and played one of the best teams in the league in Colorado and beat them in seven without their best well, one of their best offensive players and their best defensive player. And so, I mean, yeah, like you said at the start, I'm not too worried, but it's just such a, so angering to see a team like this slide like they do mid-season, right in the middle where they have been at the top with Colorado. Of course, Colorado just being a little, a few steps above them throughout the season, but the Stars and the Avalanche, I mean, you look at the point totals throughout the season. It has been Colorado, Dallas, and then the rest of the league being
Hmm.
down here. And I know that you guys couldn't see the frame up here, but you guys can get the you guys can get the analogy here. Um, and so, it's just a pain to see all these teams catch up, knowing that this team has, constantly shown throughout the season that they are one of the best teams in the league. And now they're losing to teams like Chicago twice. Twice. You thought one time it's just a fluke. Twice it's like, okay, there's something wrong with this team right now.
Hmm.
But again, 7 game losing streak right before playoffs last year, 6 game losing streak mid-season. They have so much time to fix this and not, a lot more time than they did to fix it last season. I think they'll be just all right.
As you were saying, in the middle of the streak, losing the Blackhawks twice is insane, but also losing the Red Wings, solid team. The Sabres are also very hot right now. And then recently to the Canadians, then getting crushed by the Hurricanes, in which Jake Onger allowed 5 goals off of 15 shots, got pulled for Casey DeSmith, as you were talking about a few minutes ago. We mentioned last week about the Team USA roster, and Jake Andre actually ended up making Team USA, and Jason Robertson actually got snubbed. Do you stand by the decision by Team USA? You were kind of saying that Jason Robertson may not have great
Kind of
leadership
saying
qualities. Huh?
he's
Sorry?
not, well, yeah, I mean, it's obvious, if he
Yeah.
did have great leadership qualities, I think that he would be in the big, the front runner for the next captain of the Dallas Stars. A lot of people don't really talk about that in that sense that he'll be the next captain. And so I get that. But I think the USA team just tried to get physicality. And, I know a lot of people are talking about Bill Guerin or what, him being a Minnesota Wild homer being, trying to not pick a Dallas Star because he doesn't like them or whatever. Um, he actually played for I believe the Dallas Stars. I know he played for the North Stars for some time. But um, I don't know. I don't really believe that necessarily. You know, I'm not I'm not taking somebody that's, I'm not gonna ignore somebody on Colorado that's deserving of a role if we were depending on picking an Olympic team because I'd want the USA to win. They mean more than me than the Dallas Stars, unfortunately.
Oh,
This is
wow.
it's my country, man. It's my country. I
Wow.
need them to win against Canada. Thomas Harley's the enemy
Oh,
at
man.
this point, unfortunately. But I just want um I just really wanted him to make the roster because I think he deserves it. I think he does deserve it. The USA obviously were very focused on getting more powerful forwards, people that are more comfortable with the forward checking, with defensive styles, more, again, more aggressive people. Jason Robertson is a guy who can, who's just always open. He's not as aggressive. He's not as physical. He can get physical. He's not a weak player by any means, but he's not, what you would consider a strong or aggressive player in the NHL. I just think that, I think he's I think that the USA should have done something different from the Four Nations. There's a lot of players that they picked, you know. I think
Mhm.
Brock Nelson, which is ironic since I was just talking about Colorado players and picking them if they're deserving. Brock Nelson, terrible, terrible in the Four Nations, terrible. Why is he back on the roster? I get he's having a fantastic year. He's having a better year. Jason Robertson. I mean, I don't know. Does it not make sense to go, try to get some versatility in this team? But I get it. You're trying to match up with the very, very quick and fast forwards and, offensive players from Canada. But I don't know. I just feel like letting out one of the top goal scorers in the league might bite you in the butt a little bit. Who knows?
I sure can't wait to see this competition. I wish you could take me back to that Four Nations face-off, man. That was some entertaining hockey. Obviously, they can't do that
Hockey
every
at its
single
peak,
year.
man.
Yeah, I mean they can't do it every single year, but what a great marketing decision from Bettman and Co. And they did a really good job. I don't know how you stand or where you stand with how they've done the winter series as of late. Did you watch that one in Miami a few nights ago in the Marlins Stadium?
I don't
Now with the
think it's
Florida
bad.
Panthers? Yeah, people
Again,
don't.
I think
Yeah,
Southern teams get so much shit in hockey. I think it's just so bad. I'm always on the side of, defending the Southern teams, the Panthers, the Lightning. Unfortunately, I know they beat us. Another team that I fucking hate, the Knights. Sorry for the, but I really hate them. But these Southern teams, they just get so much flack, so much crap from the NHL community, from the Northerners. They think that we just don't know crap. We don't know anything. We don't watch hockey. We don't care about hockey. Dallas loves the Stars. And I know that Florida, I know that Tampa loves the Lightning. I know that the Panthers, maybe just a
yeah,
side of
yeah.
exception. They've only really started to care since they started winning, but I know that these cities care about hockey and that there is a community for these people, and we're not just all a bunch of dumb Southerners that don't know anything about hockey. We do know stuff, and we are passionate about this sport. And I think that a lot of people just, kind of sweep that to the side because it's not history. It's not tradition to hockey. Tradition is playing it on ice. Playing, obviously we still play it on ice, but playing it in a
In
in
a
a
warmer
snowy
climate, in a
condition, in a
snowy
winter
climate, yeah.
climate. Yeah. Miami obviously isn't that. Florida isn't that. Vegas isn't that. LA isn't that. Dallas isn't that. But it doesn't mean that we just don't know hockey. Doesn't mean that we don't care about the sport. So I just think I think it's great. I think it's great that they went to Miami.
I
Um,
think it's cool because you've seen it also change from, sometimes even being played with some snow flurries in Ann Arbor and Michigan Stadium. We saw, I think you were there at the Cotton Bowl the one year they played the Nashville Predators, the Dallas Stars,
I was
right?
not
Were you
there,
there?
but
You weren't
yeah,
there?
no,
No.
I was not.
But that was a really good thing in the DFW area at the time. And I remember that just like yesterday, it happened the same day as the Rose Bowl. What a great event that was. Dallas Stars against the Nashville Predators. But now this one's being held, at, a baseball stadium. So people were a
Stars
little bit
second most
upset at that one.
attended, by the way.
Yeah, it was
Second
really
most
good.
attended
It
Winter
looked really
Classic of all
cool. It was
time
really good
at the time.
attendance. The Rangers
All to watch
ended
Corey
up
Perry
putting
have
the
his walk of
belt.
shame.
Yeah, what were you saying?
All of them to watch Corey Perry have his walk of shame. That is
Yeah.
one of my favorite memories in Dallas Stars history. I cannot lie. It is historical and
Bro,
very comical.
bro, I like what they were doing after every goal. That was a really cool thing, like the flames and stuff, and the
Hmm.
smoke, and actually hearing the Dallas Stars song with Pantera and a stadium that big was
A
just it was awesome to
100-year-old
watch.
stadium, by the way, as well. It
Insane,
was very impressive.
insane. It was awesome. But that'll do it for episode 101 of the 214 Sports Show. We do remind you to like and subscribe and also share these episodes as we drop them every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central every week. Again, we're starting a new era in the 214 Sports Show, going up in the 100s as we had our century mark last week. It's been a really fun journey, so thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing if you have, and watching and even commenting on some of our clips if you like it or disagree with it as well. Thank you so much as we keep going and going higher in these episode marks. So thank you again. Please follow at the 214 Sports Show on TikTok, X/Twitter, and Instagram. We post a lot of short form content there of our takes and some funny moments here and there as well. But with that being said, TJ, do you want to give your social really quick?
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at tj.krilowicz and then also on Twitter/X at tj_Krilowicz and also be on the lookout for a very special video for Dallas sports coming up on our channel in a few weeks. Probably well, less than a few weeks now. I'm trying to get that up and going. It's getting a little outdated now, so we're gonna get it up. We
Well,
will get it up.
I'll be seated for it. I'll be seated for it anyways. It should be it should be a fun one. You can follow me at Joseph_Duffy99 on Twitter/X, and then also the same on Instagram. You can also follow me at Joe_Duffy on TikTok. Post a few occasional TikToks here and there. Again, please like and subscribe. Every week we drop an episode in full length on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and then also have specific cut up episodes or segments for each team that we discuss as well following after. With that being said, he's TJ Krilowicz. I'm Joseph Duffy. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode. We'll see you next week.